So in this section we learn now that the integral of e to the x is e to the x. And that's awesome, right? Because the derivative of e to the x is e to the x. It's very nice. Of course I should add the plus c, but yeah, it's super nice. So for the problem we're doing here, this first piece is very simple. It's just e to the x. But then you've got this e to the negative x. And they want you to do a full u sub, but you might just be able to see that if you just multiply by a -1, that'll do it, right? You can always check, because remember, if you take the derivative, so if I'm guessing, so I'm guessing that the integral of e to the negative x is negative e to the negative x. This is my thought. And the reason I think this is because when I go to check it and take my derivative, this works, because when I take my derivative, the derivative of e to the negative x is e to the negative x times the derivative of the inside, which is that -1, which is why I needed this extra negative to make the positive e to the negative x that I see in there. So you can kind of just see it. But I did notice that you are supposed to be able to do a u sub, so I can do it that way as well. So if you had, and I used to do u subs all the time for even the smallest of problems. So here, if you have anything other than just an x in there, it basically requires a u sub. So I have a negative x instead of just an x, so that's what I'm going to make my u. I'll make my u equal to negative x, and then you just keep going because you need to take care of the du. So the du is a -1 dx, and if I divide by -1, negative du equals dx. This color might be a little bit too fancy. And so when I go to rewrite my integral in terms of u, I have e to the u, and then the dx was negative du. So I do have negative e to the u du, just like I said we would. Oh yeah, and then the u, oh sorry, and then when you take the antiderivative, then you can take it because that's just e to the u, and then you put back the u, and you get negative e to the negative x, just like we said we would. Looks good. Overkill. And then you just evaluate that from -1 to 1, and we get plug in the 1 and subtract what we get when we plug in the -1. And then so this is e to the 1 minus 1 over e minus 1 over e plus e. So it gets 2 e's minus 2 1 over e's. So that's fun. Cool.